Barbra Streisand is more than a singer, an actress, or an entertainer. She is an enduring presence in American culture whose artistry transcends decades. From Broadway to Hollywood, her voice and performances have shaped generations, leaving an indelible mark on music, film, and theatre. What sets her apart is not just her talent, but her resilience. Over 6 decades, she has achieved milestones few could imagine, becoming the only artist with #1 albums in 6 consecutive decades. Her achievements reflect not luck, but relentless discipline, unwavering focus, and extraordinary willpower. Beneath the accolades and applause lies a story of loss, solitude, and determination, where every triumph was carved from the shadows of absence, shaping a life defined by perseverance, self-reliance, and an unwavering commitment to her art. Streisand's journey reveals the quiet endurance behind the spotlight, early life and childhood loss. Barbra Streisand was born on April the 24th, 1942, in Brooklyn, New York, into a cramped apartment filled with struggle and quiet tension. At just 15 months old, she lost her father, Emmanuel, leaving her mother Diana to raise Barbra and her brother alone. The circumstances of his death were softened for her as a child, explained as exhaustion rather than the harsher reality of a medical miscalculation. This early loss created a profound void, a space of absence that shaped her emotional and psychological landscape. Without memories of her father, she experienced both love and grief for someone she could not truly know. Her early years were defined by scarcity, both materially and emotionally, forcing her to internalize strength, to create warmth where none existed, and to begin forming the resilience that would define her life and artistry in ways that would echo throughout her career. Formative years and family strains. Barbra's mother remarried when she was 7, bringing a stepfather, Lou Keane, into her life, a presence that never truly offered closeness or comfort. Despite her efforts to connect and be seen, Barbra repeatedly faced indifference, learning early that love and validation were not guaranteed. Sharing a small apartment with no privacy, she navigated a childhood without space to retreat or reflect. Affection arrived sporadically, and care often felt distant, muted by grief and routine. Yet these challenges did not close her. Instead, they shaped her inner discipline and desire for control. The absence of consistent warmth taught her to rely on herself, sharpening her sensitivity and awareness. Barbra learned early that silence, rejection, and absence were forces to endure and respond to thoughtfully, which ultimately became foundational in her artistic precision and emotional depth. The birth of a voice. Barbra's voice was forged not in comfort, but in necessity. In New York nightclubs, she performed for indifferent audiences, often receiving silence where applause might have been expected. Each performance became a test of persistence, a measure of whether she would reduce herself to gain acceptance or remain true to her artistry. These formative experiences cultivated an extraordinary resilience and precision in her craft. Her voice became a vessel for emotion, carrying the weight of absence, longing, and self-discipline. Every note she sang was infused with a life shaped by unmet needs and quiet endurance. Barbra learned to create meaning and presence from nothing, turning what was missing into a source of strength. This foundation allowed her later work on Broadway and in film to resonate with authenticity, drawing audiences into the depth of her lived experience. Music as accumulation and transformation. Barbra's musical career reflects not fleeting momentum, but decades of deliberate accumulation and reinvention. She has achieved #1 albums in 6 consecutive decades, a testament to both her adaptability and sustained excellence. Her Grammy wins, Academy Awards, and lifetime honours punctuate a career defined by precision, creativity, and rigorous self-discipline. Yet even in success, she contended with pressure, scrutiny, and the persistent reminder that recognition did not replace what had been absent in her early life. Each album and performance carried lessons learned from silence and rejection, shaping her ability to express nuanced emotion and authenticity. Music became a space where she could translate life's complexities into art, transforming absence, longing, and resilience into performances that resonated across generations, establishing her as an icon whose influence extends far beyond the charts. The silent costs of success. Despite public acclaim, Barbra's achievements could not fill the private voids she carried from childhood. Awards, wealth, and fame provided validation, but did not replace intimacy, closeness, or unconditional acceptance. Success demanded resilience, but it also amplified the pressures she had always navigated: high expectations, constant scrutiny, and a life lived under the gaze of others. Her authority and certainty unsettled some, creating distance even as it commanded respect. Streisand's private life was often defined by absence, quiet disappointment, and the challenge of connecting deeply in spaces where emotional control could not fully compensate. These unspoken costs informed her relationships, requiring her to remain deliberate and selective in openness, highlighting the tension between public achievement and private fulfillment that shaped her life and work in profound ways. Relationships and emotional complexity. Barbra's personal relationships reflect the same themes of measured openness and enduring emotional depth that characterise her career. Encounters with figures like Omar Sharif and Pierre Trudeau were marked by subtle connection, presence, and mutual respect, yet also by boundaries and circumstances that limited permanence. Love for Barbra was often shaped by absence, societal expectation, or external obligations, yet she maintained the courage to remain open despite uncertainty. These relationships were not about performance or spectacle. They were spaces where authenticity was both possible and fragile. Her understanding of closeness evolved to recognise that love could exist fully without control or permanence. Barbra's emotional life illustrates the subtle, unacknowledged struggles of sustaining intimacy in a world that constantly evaluated her public persona and accomplishments. Structure, discipline, and resilience. Barbra's life and work illustrate the transformative power of structure and self-discipline. From childhood absence to professional rigour, she learned to build spaces of stability and safety within herself. Music, film, and rehearsal floors became places where control could coexist with expression, allowing her to navigate pressure and expectation without losing authenticity. Structure was not a retreat, but a framework for endurance, a way to preserve herself when the world offered no guarantees. Through precise attention to craft, deliberate reinvention, and careful management of her private and public life, Streisand created a career that could sustain the weight of her talent, emotional complexity, and ambition. Her resilience reflects a balance of vulnerability and strength, demonstrating how personal discipline and inner structure can transform absence into mastery. Legacy of endurance. Barbra Streisand's career and life stand as a testament to enduring artistry shaped by resilience, emotional intelligence, and relentless self-expectation. She transformed personal absence, rejection, and silence into an unparalleled voice, one that commands attention and evokes profound emotion. Her accomplishments in music, theatre, and film have influenced generations, but her deeper legacy lies in her ability to remain open to life despite uncertainty and absence. Every note, every performance, and every professional decision reflects a life lived with precision and intentionality. Streisand's story demonstrates that greatness is not defined by accolades alone, but by the courage to persist, remain authentic, and navigate a world that often fails to recognise the quiet struggles behind every triumph. Conclusion: the power behind the silence. Barbra Streisand's journey illustrates the profound intersection of talent, discipline, and emotional resilience. From a childhood defined by absence to a career of unparalleled success, she has transformed loss into precision, silence into voice, and struggle into art. Her story reminds us that true greatness is often forged in solitude and perseverance, not in applause or external recognition. The public sees her achievements, but the origin of her strength lies in navigating quiet rejection, unmet need, and enduring presence in the face of adversity. Streisand's life exemplifies how inner resilience shapes outer success, and how the ability to remain open, precise, and emotionally present creates a legacy that transcends fame.